Welcome back, everybody, to the B Main episode number 27, and I guess it's our closest back-to-back episode, Gavin.
I think this is like a 4-day turnaround.
I know, which is not normal for us. Hey, we're gonna get to the point where we're doing episodes every week, but I got to graduate first. That's the main goal for me. Well,
Hey,
let's
that's
go
coming
ahead.
up pretty soon.
I know. Let's get into our headlines today. Biggest one, Joey Logano, Cup Series three-time champion, joins us for this episode, this very special episode. Penske wins the Rolex 24 Hours for the third time in a row. NASCAR announces the fall Charlotte date will be on the oval. And obviously, we got big winter weather up in North Carolina currently, and that is going to put a big question mark around the Clash this upcoming weekend. My name is Gavin. My name is Scott, and I'm joined alongside by Gavin. My name is Gavin. It'd be weird what if our names were both Gavin? That would be a very difficult podcast to do.
I'm glad we have different names. And we also have a guest we just mentioned with us. Joey, we're going to switch it over to you. You're going to be front and center for just a second here.
What's up?
What's
up, guys? Everyone doing good?
We're doing good.
Oh, yeah, we're doing great.
How was the day at the shop?
Yeah, it was a day at the shop today. Got a little bit of work done, getting ready for the Clash. Got some snow tires ready to roll, possibly.
Goodness.
And yeah,
didn't they
they're ready.
Wasn't there one race where there was snow tires in the early 2010s?
I think it was just rain tires.
I saw something.
I think
it might have been a joke.
No, it snowed in Bristol around that time.
Mm-hmm.
It snowed, but I think it wasn't a lot. And they finished. I think we finished the race. I don't know it was just some snow that hit the ground. It wasn't. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But it was snowing.
Well, This is obviously a little bit more difficult. They tried to treat the racetrack, I believe, with some brine and everything to keep the snow off of it. That obviously didn't work. I saw a tweet, Gavin, from Mike Joy, who lives around the area, and was saying that the roads were pretty bad up in the Winston-Salem area. Obviously, you might not know, Joey, but what do you think? I mean, what could this weekend get moved, or is it, we're going to put a jet dryer on the track with the fire and the heat to try to melt the snow? What's your thoughts?
I think everything's on the plate right now. You can do anything. We've seen, if you go back a few years back in LA when they had the Clash there and they had that big storm that was coming, and it wasn't 4 hours before the race, the actual race was like, hey, we're going to race today. We're like, wait, what? We're going to practice.
Oh, I remember that.
We're going to run the heat races and we're going to run the race all today. And that happened like really quick. So we're able to make a decision quickly last minute if we need to. I think it being the Clash kind of presents that opportunity a little bit more, right? Not being a points paying event and those type of things, that we can make some big moves. So I'm not NASCAR. I don't know exactly what the plan is. I know I've heard some rumors of different things rolling around, but definitely, who knows, right? I know a jet dryer could probably melt some snow pretty quick, which is good, but that's only part of the problem, right? So, you still got to get fans to the racetrack. You got to get workers to the racetrack. The government officials have to, all kind of be okay with that. And, I'm telling you, man, when it snows down here in the Carolinas, it shuts everything down. And the roads are really bad, right? We're not really equipped to handle a lot of it, and quite frankly, the ice is brutal, right? Like the snow wouldn't be bad. If it snows, it'd be better. The ice is rough. It really messes up the roads a lot. So, it depends on how they look at it. Is they just going to put the race on, and or are they going to have fans there or not? All those are probably questions that are being talked about right now.
Yeah, I think with Bowman Gray and its prestige and what everyone talks about with it being the Madhouse, they will probably do everything they can to get fans there. I think I heard the lows on Sunday night getting down towards the start of race time would be around 15 degrees. So definitely good things in question. You made a great point about talking about, it's not just about the track. It's about race officials. It's about the track workers, getting people there. I definitely agree with you. Gavin?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering about is there any possibility with it being that cold, they make a decision just for the safety of the fans, say, hey, we're going to run this, at the daytime, or we're going to push it back a few days just because it's too cold?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I
I
could.
think it's
Yeah.
possible. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it's
Because
possible that they say we're gonna race, Saturday. I could see that happening. I
yeah,
could maybe see racing Friday, right? Like,
yeah,
who knows? It could change, really quickly.
mhm,
But we'll just kind of roll with it, right? Either
Yeah.
way, it's the same for everybody. It's going to be a good
yeah,
race. The only thing I feel bad for right now is just the race fans, right? Like if you have your plans to go to it, and unfortunately the weather gets in the way, which it happens in all sports, right? It can happen with
mhm,
with us too, and um, you know, just some things may have to change really quickly. But I will say a lot of the fans that go there, it seems like, or most of them, not all of them, but most of them seem like they're pretty local to that area,
yeah.
where they're diehard, Madhouse fans, right? They go there every week, and uh, but I'm sure they want to be there to
Hey,
see, the NASCAR stars be there.
hey, those local Bowman Gray fans are awesome. They're nuts. I love
Oh,
it.
absolutely. They definitely are. Well, I want to keep talking about the clash. We can move on from the
Mm,
weather topic. Joey,
yeah, yeah.
we had this clash last year at Bowman Gray. Obviously, you won at the LA Coliseum, and very different track. Obviously, both very flat, but very different in their makeup and length. What was your experience last year with the clash, and what do you bring this year with that experience from last year's race?
Yeah, I mean, there's similarities to the LA Coliseum, but it's still quite a bit of a different track. The profile of the corner is quite a bit different.
Yeah.
Bowman Gray's got longer corners, where the Coliseum was much more like sharp corner, a little longer straightaway. So the braking event's quite a bit different. And then what you need out of your car is quite a bit different for that reason. So uh, the race itself last year was pretty good, right? You watched the A main. It was fun it was a long green flag run. There was comers and goers. That'll be good. New left side tire. It should have more wear, and it was already wearing out last year.
Mm,
So the right side was the same right side, but the left side is different. So that should induce some left side wear. So that'll create more fall off, which is always good for racing. So um, I mean, I think yes, it's a small track, and yes, it gets to be bumper cars, but it also got to the point where it ran what close to 70 laps, 60 something laps, I think, towards the end of the race there. And we saw a really good race, and we saw cars tanking at the end of the run where they had no more tire left on the car. Right. With I think it was Reddick, Bubba, even Denny fell off hard there at the end. And the 12 was running down the 9, right? And you had that race that was pretty fun to watch, because it's a long green flag run. You're kind of seeing that stuff play out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it, and I'm glad that we're getting more left side wear out of this tire. I think they tested it at Bristol, and I know that Ryan Priest was
mm,
part of that. He was part of the 750 package test, which is a little bit different, and that was not at Bristol. But I love. Me and Gavin talked a lot about this year about tire wear and what you could do with it, as well as horsepower. But I'm very appreciative of Goodyear, and I think it's very easy for fans to harp on the tire and complain about the car. It's a
mhm,
very vulnerable position for Goodyear to put themselves in at tires that will blow out. I mean, we saw it at Bristol, and I think that's only to help the racing and the race fans because they could easily say, well, tires blowing out is a bad look for our business because their business is not to make racing tires, which they do. It's to make tires on the road, and people want to know that their tires are going to be strong and not blow out. So I'm appreciative as a fan to Goodyear and saying, hey, we're going to try to make the sport better and make the racing better.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at Goodyear, if you were the CEO of the company, what do you want to sell, right? And I think when you put tires on your street vehicle, you'd say you want tires that sure have good grip, but you want tires that last a long time, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what you want, a very durable tire. Uh, and as a race car driver, you're not asking for that. Sure, you want a durable tire that doesn't blow up, but you want one that wears out. That's what you
yeah.
want. And you don't want that on your street car. Uh, and so I think it's tough to make that decision. But I think what we've seen last year is that Goodyear, leaned in to try to manufacture a tire that has more wear, And the result of that is everyone talking really good about Goodyear, right? Like everyone is talking so positive about what they've been able to produce last year, and they're going to take that to another level, right? As we see, you introduce more tires, more soft tires, more tires that wear out more, um, and that's because everybody is praising them now, right? Like we were all saying before, hey, Goodyear can't build a tire that wears out, and on one hand that might sound good, but in the race world, we're like, that's awful.
Yeah.
But now we see that they can, and it's actually been really, really good.
Yeah, and that's kind of making me think is when we were talking about all the tire wear, especially I think it was 2 years ago at Spring Bristol, where it was so cold and the tire just shredded and went in the track. The track wouldn't take rubber. And with it being that cold at the Clash, is that something that we might see? Is the track not taking rubber, or is it such a low speed track that the tires are going to wear, but you're not going to see just piles of marbles and the track not taking the rubber?
Yeah, I think it. I mean, it may not pack rubber in,
Hmm.
but I could see the tire graining. We've seen that
Yeah.
happen a lot when it's cold. Is that the tire will grain, and that'll wear a
Hmm.
tire out pretty quick when it starts doing that. Um, that sure it can happen.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
I gotcha.
none of us know, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know for sure until you get there, and
Yeah.
you can't adjust much when you get there either. You got
Yeah.
these couple practice sessions, and then the last one's of what's it, 5 minutes or
Yeah.
4 minutes? I think it's 4 minutes, a 4 minute qualifying session. So it's bang, bang, bang. Like you don't have much time to be doing stuff,
Hmm.
and then you're right into your heat races right after that. So
Yeah.
uh, hope you get it right, and we're going to be all finding out together that oh my gosh, there's a ton of tire wear or not, to where we have to kind of see that together.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of like that as well. Of you obviously want to know as much as the driver of, hey, I know pretty much what I'm getting into, because it can definitely be a hairy situation to be like, okay, we just got to figure this out now. I imagine that's what you felt when everything happened at Bristol. But I think it's going to take the drivers, it's more veteran drivers that can adapt to those different abilities, because they can hold on. Because I think with this next gen, a lot of people have complained about going 100% every single lap and not having to manage and not having to conserve, which is something that is more in the, I guess, older days now with Gen 6 and behind. But it's a staple in short track racing of saving
Mhm.
tires, being able to manage your stuff. And I think that's what we've seen. And I think that's what a lot of older race fans and race fans that see the racing product, they want these comers and goers like we saw last year at Bowman Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
racing.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just kind of agreeing with him. Like the racing purist, this is what they've asked for a long time, and these softer tires that are still, they're not failing. They're just a bunch of wear. It's what they and we have asked for I guess several years now.
Yeah, I'd be careful about saying purist though,
Okay. Yeah.
because you can like, to me as a race
Okay.
fan,
Okay.
I can find entertainment in about any kind of form of motorsports, and I also can just on any kind of race. So,
Yeah.
like, sure that I want tire wear as well,
Yeah.
but sometimes when there's not tire wear, it's not a bad race. It just becomes a fuel mileage type of thing, right? The
Hmm. Yeah.
strategy is just different. As long as you can keep up with how the fuel strategy is happening and what's going on,
Hmm.
then it becomes a pretty interesting race, possibly with the way cautions fall.
Yeah.
But it's still a race. It's just a
Oh
different
yeah.
kind of race,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it becomes more of a bicycle race, if you will, right? Where everyone's trying to save their legs, right? Or save a fuel.
Yeah.
Like it's a different skill set.
Hmm.
It takes something completely different for the team to be able to do that. Um, i- it's not exactly what I'd want all the time, but it's also,
Hmm.
it's okay. There's a little variety there. That's okay. But I definitely enjoy as a driver the tire fall off, because you feel like as a driver you can, impact more things.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Because I mean, I think we're all in agreement here that the tire wear and races that play out that way are probably, I mean, some of our favorites. But I agree with you as well in that there's always something to look for, whether
Hmm.
the tire is hard as a rock. There's always something to look for that someone's going to find an advantage towards, whether it be fuel, whether it be who knows what, but somebody's going to find an advantage. You're probably a little biased as well towards the fuel mileage because you and your team are so good at it, at getting it right.
Yeah, our team's good at it, but I mean, if you think of all right, so I think tire wear is good if you have a tire limit.
Okay.
Yes.
How's that sound?
Yes.
If you have
I like
unlimited tires, if you have unlimited tires, your tire strategy is very basic, right? It's caution comes out, put tires on. Caution comes out, put more tires on. There's never a moment where you got to stay out on old tires.
Okay.
If there's a tire limit that you're running up against, you are pushing yourself to say, well, I could put on my set of tires now, but if the caution comes out later, we're done, right? We got no tires left. We're out, right? Or do you save them and you hope for a caution to be later? I like having that option, right? And a tire limit really puts the team back into it, the crew chief a little bit more of how you play this race out. Right? I don't think the fastest car has to win every race. I think the best team needs to win the race.
Yeah.
And sometimes that might not be the fastest car. Maybe sometimes it's the best call. Maybe sometimes it's the best restarts and the best strategy. Sometimes it is just the fastest car, and that's okay too. But I think it's a team sport, and for it to be that way, you can't just dumb it down to where you have unlimited tires and you just put tires on every time. It's just I'm not a fan of that. I like having everybody involved with it and making it a team sport that it is.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you mentioning tire limit really puts that into the words I think we were looking for. And Gavin, I mean, I think last night the race. I'm an announcer and I do a lot on iRacing.
You called a race, and I was.
We called a race. Well, and you were spotting for our friend Drew, and
you
it
were
was actually a
calling,
mistake how they did the tires. It was 80 laps at Michigan in the trucks.
But we had a smaller gas tank.
Yeah, it was 18 laps you could make it on fuel, and there were only 3 sets of tires.
There were 3 sets of tires for 4 runs.
Yep. So you had to not take tires at one of the runs, and it produced
green.
It was amazing, and you had to choose. There was strategy, and I think exactly what you said, Joey. So, but let's see. Gavin, what do we want to do next? We want to talk about championship format, or actually, let's do this. Joey, this is our first technically official meeting. Gavin, I told this about yesterday. We've actually met once before, and you wouldn't remember it because it was a fan signing. It was at Talladega in 2019. And I remember it specifically because it was right before COVID, so you could still get really close before they closed down pit roads for a lot of they did at some of the tracks. But I remember I was there with my dad and my uncle and my cousin, and you were walking down the line, and there were fans all at the gates and everything, just wanting to get autographs. And I had I wish I had it. It's at my house back at home. It's an old yellow cap with a red brim, and it's got 22 on it. And my uncle knew I was a huge fan of yours, and so he was like, Scott, here he comes. He was like, and I was like, what? I was like, he's coming? Like, where? And I was like, what? I was probably 14 at the time. No, not 14. I was older than that. I guess 15. I don't even know. I was young and I was short. I sprouted late on my height, so I could not see above anybody. And I was like, there's no way that he's going to see me. And he was like, stick out your hat. He was like, I'll see it. It's red. And I stuck it out. And I don't know if you saw me or the hat. And I was one of the few in that little crowd right there that you got to. And it was really cool. And I figured you probably didn't know that story because it was just quick. You meet so many fans every day, but I always remember that.
Yeah, it's I love hearing those stories, to be honest with you, because I never know the impact that I'm making sometimes just by saying hello, right, or signing your hat, right. But I do always go back to when I was that kid, right. And I remember I went to Atlanta for a race. I was a huge Tony Stewart fan, and I went there. I wanted to meet Tony. I was in between the garage and the bus lot where all the drivers would walk by anyways. And I waited, and Tony come by, and I was probably 9-10 years old. And so I was excited. I had my hat, my Home Depot hat. I went over there and he was upset about the way practice went or something. Right. And he kind of just brushed me off, and I was so upset right? I was so upset that I went home and I threw away all my stuff. I said, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. And now knowing Tony, I understand. And as a race car driver, I understand the emotions and all that. Like, it makes sense now. But as a kid, I was like, this guy's a jerk, like I didn't know. And so, and the funny thing is, you fast forward 10 years from then, I
You're
took
in
over
his
the car
car.
he was driving, which was
Exactly.
just wild. But yeah, it's just, but I always have that in my mind. God does things in your life for a reason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If that didn't happen to me, I don't know if I would be uh so aware of kids around with my hats on or a shirt on. Like, I will always stop. Or if I see a 22 stuff, I'm like, yeah, man, like I get it, I've been there. So that memory is something that's always just been in my mind. And so
Yeah.
yeah, kind of a funny way to meet Tony the first time, and then everything that's happened between us. Just
Oh
pretty
my
wild. But
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But yeah, I always remember that. And
Well, and
go ahead, Gavin.
go ahead, finish. No, I was just gonna say, like, and that goes back to the impact like you had on my life back. I guess that was 16 years ago now when you came down here and did my Make a Wish. I guess that was probably about 16 years ago this week. Honestly, I think that was
Yeah, it's right before Daytona.
yeah, it was yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much exactly 16 years ago, and the impact that's made on me. And me and you have both told the story several times, so I'll just put the I have a video documentary about that I made a couple years ago in school. I'm just going to link that in the description. If anybody watching wants to hear that story, I'm going to put it there and it'll be available. Just go watch.
Yeah, Gavin. I got to watch that documentary when we were both down at the Snowball Derby, and
Oh
because
yeah.
I had no idea there was a video of it, and I was like, wait, because
Mhm.
I mean, Gavin had told me the story about
Oh, so we watched the
what, two
Make a
years
Wish
ago.
video and
Yeah,
the
we
documentary
oh
that
yeah,
I
we
made.
watched them
We
both.
watched both videos. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great. It was really cool, and it's really cool what you do with your foundation. You obviously
Mm.
mentioned you're a huge Christ follower, and I love that you're very open about both of those things within your life, within social media, because I think people recognize that. I know me and my family always did. I think that's one of the reasons why we became fans of you so early, is because we were like, hey, this guy, he's a Christ follower. He's very open about it. He's helping the community, and I like him.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's I feel like God's given me obviously an incredible life, and
Mhm.
I'm living my dream as a race car driver. But it's also very empty if you don't do anything impactful with it.
Mhm.
Whether that's encouraging others to live a life of generosity, or doing things to help impact people's life positively, or driving people to Christ as a disciple, right? I mean, that's what we're
Mhm.
supposed to do, right? I mean, it says it right there in the book what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
We have an
Yeah.
owner's manual. It's called the
Yeah.
Bible. You got everything in it. I don't know how you're supposed to be. So that's to me is one of the most important things
Mhm.
to this whole project that I do, is that you got to have a why. And if you don't have that kind of why, when you're done, you're just going to be alone with trophies,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a lot of retired athletes that are depressed, a lot,
Mhm.
and I don't want to be that. I know that. And I know I won't be that either. Like, I will not be that
Yeah.
guy. But I can see how it happens very easily.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I want to be I want to be the lead announcer for NASCAR one day, and I'm working from the ground up, and I'm like, what am I doing this for? And all the time I talk about this has to be to glorify the Lord, because that's the only way that it means anything. And
Mhm.
so that's why if the Lord puts me in that position, I want to meet people to do that and to glorify Him. Because that's, like you said, I mean, it's the whole goal, Matthew 28. So I appreciate that you're always so open about that, because it's
Right.
Mhm.
very easy to shy away from Christianity and religion that people talk about. It's social media is very, who knows what's going on, and it's just very easy to be like, oh yeah, that's my thing, but I'm going to keep it here. But we're called to spread that, and it's one of the things that always stuck out to you for me and my family. So But yeah, that was the story of how I first met you, and I'll always remember it. So
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, thanks for sharing that.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and after that, talking about stories from when we were all kids and things like that, and everything you do with your foundation, and even talking about kids with your family. You were telling us a story just a little bit ago about actually with your new hairdo, or I guess lack of. It was all Hudson. It was Hudson.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to hear how that went down.
Well, Brittany took Amelia to dance class with Jameson.
Okay.
Jameson doesn't do dance class, but he went there because we stayed home.
Yeah.
And I
Glad
said,
you-
"Here,
glad you
Hudson,"
made
I
sure.
said, "Take this." Yeah, I know. I had to clarify that. But yeah, I gave Hudson the clipper. I said, "Come here, dude." And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "Cut it all off, bud. Do it." And he's like, "What? What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he took a swipe, right? And he goes, "Well, I guess we're full commit now, aren't we, Dad?" I think so, bud. Keep going.
So, did Brittany
He
know
had
you were
fun.
gonna do this, or was it a surprise when she got home?
We talked about it.
Okay.
We talked about it, and I don't know if she believed I was actually going to do it. And then I was like, "I'm doing it," and no regrets. All about it. A little glare going on up here, but that's
Yeah.
add a little more shine. That's all.
It'll look better in the wind tunnel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's my aerodynamics.
I haven't heard that. I like that.
I haven't either. That's hilarious. What
Someone said to me the other day. It was good.
what made you want to cut it off? I mean, was it just bothering you? I know you battled alopecia for most of your life. Was
Yeah.
it just getting to a point where it's just bothering you?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The alopecia stuff was something I've always kind of battled, kind of in and out. It kind of
Mm.
shows up sometimes, goes away. I'm like, eh. I'm like, you know what? Just it's easier just to cut it off. And
Yeah.
so I went that direction, and yeah, it's been good.
I saw
Different look.
seriously, and I mean, people thought it was AI. I did too. You've joined the club with Matt Weaver, and I think, or excuse me, with who is it?
Yeah, Matt Weaver.
Matt Weaver is
Yep,
bald.
yep.
But who else am I thinking of? Is it Gluck?
I think Jeff
Gluck?
Gluck, maybe.
Gluck, and he
I
Probably.
think Gluck's bald, yeah.
because he made the post about Chase Briscoe because he thought he was going to have another one join the NASCAR bald family.
That was AI though. That one was AI.
I know. He got upset because he thought another one joined the thing, and I think Briscoe commented back, and he was like, "Soon, my friend." So Chase Briscoe might be joining y'all.
It is funny though. The bald community, it's a community. I didn't realize it's a community. But there is, another bald guy sees another bald guy, and it's kind of like, they kind of wave, they're like, "Hey, you look, looking good," or like, especially if when you just did it, you're like, "Oh, you're joining the club," and I'm like,
Hey, if
I didn't realize this was a thing. But
Hey,
yeah,
oh yeah, no, that's funny.
you guys are not part of the club, okay? You're
Hey, but
out. I'm in.
Hey, when I drive by somebody else in a wheelchair out on the sidewalk or in a store or somewhere, we wave at each other. So I know what you mean.
Dang,
Yeah.
Gavin's got the wheelchair community. Joey's got the bald community now. I gotta find a community. I gotta
You
figure
do.
something out here.
Hey,
You gotta get a Mustang or something. Even the Mustang
I
community, that's a
want.
good one.
Hey, I've got a 1965, but I want a
Hey, you're in.
2019.
You're
I
in.
do.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. I
You're
found my
in, waving at
community.
each other.
you're in your community.
I love it. So
Uh,
thanks for sharing that story. That's hilarious with
Yeah,
Hudson doing it.
yeah, I didn't know that story until just before we recorded. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I like that. I can just see Hudson going crazy on some razors.
Oh yeah, he had fun. We were laughing our butts off. So
That's good. That's good.
yeah, my daughter asked me the other day. This is funny. I tell them all the time. I say, if you don't brush your teeth will fall out, right? And so my daughter comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, Daddy, did you not brush your hair? Is that why it fell out?" Yep, that's it. That was it.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
You make sure to brush those teeth and your hair.
And your hair, else your hair will fall out.
You're gonna go in there and you're gonna see all three of your kids just sit there brushing their hair just
Oh,
like
yeah.
very
Just hope they
thoroughly.
brush your teeth. That's the challenge at home.
I understand.
You
But
know. Go ahead, Gavin.
no, you're good.
I was going to say, just quickly before we move on from it, talking about kids, talking about Hudson. I think we've seen over many years, obviously, racing families, generations continue. We've seen a lot with Keelan Harvick this past year with what Kevin's been doing with him. We've seen more out of Owen Larson with what Kyle's doing with him. I saw a video the other day that you posted of y'all out in the four Rangers or the Rangers out in the snow, just doing some laps out around the house. Is there any plan for you? Obviously, this is your family, so you can share what you want or not at all. But is there interest from Hudson? What's that like between you as father and son, and with Brittany and the family?
Our plan is to have fun. That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan. He's a kid. We're gonna have fun. And if that means he wants to race, then we're gonna race. If that means he wants to just screw around at the house, that's what we're gonna do. If he wants to go play basketball, that's what we're gonna do. He's a kid, and I don't think there's pros and cons of starting early. The pros are, sure, maybe you'd be a little advanced, you may get there a little bit sooner if you're gonna make it to the top. Sure, maybe. There's also the chance of burnout and taking the fun out of it, and not being a kid and all that. And I don't want to put him through that unless he wants to do it. Then we're going to be all in. But right now, he has a ton of fun just riding his quad, riding his the side by sides and go karts, and he has a blast doing that. And when I bring up racing, he's like, I don't really want to go race. I'm like, together, and I'm okay with that. We have fun. And he loves cars. He's got the same passions as me. He loves the same things that I do. So we have a really easy connection that way. But it doesn't seem like he wants to race at the track quite yet. I think someday he may want to, but I'm also not going to be the dad that pushes on that type of stuff. I've seen plenty of good athletes that start a little later, and they, if you got it, you got it. And if you don't absolutely love it, you will never make it. You won't. Like, you have to absolutely love it to make this a long, living thing. And so so if who knows, right? He's 8 years old.
Yeah.
I don't really, and my, Jameson, he might not be in the cars quite as much. It doesn't seem to be his thing right now, but he's also 5, right? And so it was a no. And Amelia, she's turning 4 here soon. She just wants to ride in the skid steer with Dad. That's all she wants to do. So she gets in there with me. We build racetracks.
I love it, and I love that. I love that take, and I agree with you. And I think that's it's very easy to see kids start very young and get burnt out. And if you love it, you love it. I think that's the best way to say it. And if you love it, you're gonna make it if you love it enough. And if you don't, you just won't. So I love that, Gavin.
And you were talking about Hudson loving basketball too, and I know y'all went to the Hornets game yesterday. How was that? I just want to ask how it was. How it went.
Yeah. Oh, they killed him. They killed him. It was a butt kicking, and it was awesome.
That's fun. That's fun.
We've been going to a ton of NBA games lately, honestly, because Hudson's a fan. He loves basketball, and I never really watched basketball much. But you kind of follow your kid's passions a lot of times, and he's in, and now I'm in. I love watching it too. And so it was a last minute decision. We were down towards the city anyways, and they moved the game up because of the storm that came through here. So we were like, yeah, let's go. And at one point they were 50 points up. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
That's
awesome.
Smoked them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is he a Hornets fan, I guess, or
does
he have another favorite
He's a
team?
Hornets fan. Hornets, and then he likes Luka Doncic a lot. So he's now a Lakers fan after he got traded. So that's where he's at.
I gotcha. That's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, back onto the racing. NASCAR announced, a few weeks ago, they're going back to the chase format, a little bit modified of a format, and I'm a huge fan of it. I like that it's not necessarily a win and you're in anymore, but now a win is worth 16 more points in second place. A win is worth 55 points. Second place is worth 39. I love that it gives more value to a win, but it doesn't make it where, once you've won one race, you're locked in. You have to keep winning, and that advantage grows every time you win.
Which,
That's my favorite thing about it.
and I agree with you fully, Gavin, which, interestingly enough, the two things you and I talked about last year, in the entirety of the time NASCAR was talking about that they're going to make a change, we each had one thing that we both wanted the most out of what they were going to make the change to. Yours was more points to a win, more worth to a win, and mine was getting rid of winning you're in, and they did both. Because I think, I mean, we talked about this on many episodes that I think winning you're in created some issues with people that did this
fun
person.
Story. It was fun.
It was fun, and it was great. I mean, people talked about broadcasters complaining because it made storylines easier, and because it did. And I don't know what broadcasters could have been complaining, but inevitably it does make the storylines easier because it's saying, hey, we're racing these 25 races up till this point. Then you got 3, 3, and 1, and it builds itself, and it writes itself. I love this a lot better, and I think a lot of fans that questioned the playoffs and about its legitimacy, I think this is a great in-between of a 36-race championship and what the playoffs were. Joey, obviously, you and your team were excellent in the playoff era. It was one of y'all's big strengths. Even when, you didn't have the greatest regular season, you deserved to be in the playoffs first off, but then y'all absolutely found and came alive in the playoffs. What's your thoughts on the new chase format and just comparing everything you've raced in really in the formats?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm going to do whatever they say to do.
Yeah.
And it's not my choice.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to complain about it. I think it's fine. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's going back to what we used to do.
Mhm.
Do I think that's good? Personally, I liked what we were doing.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
if I had to
obviously.
pick one, well, then see I don't think that's why though. Like I like it because I enjoyed watching desperate people do desperate things.
Yes.
I love
The
that.
Hail Melon
Right?
Ross did might have been the coolest move I've seen in my life as a fan.
And guess what? You're not going to see that anymore.
No.
And you couldn't see that anyways again, but you would never have seen that in the first place.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the playoff format that we had before. I agree with you guys. The winning you're in thing, if you were 30th in points and you're winning you're in, I didn't like that either. I think you can do winning you're in, but maybe be top 22 in points. I think there could have been like a little bit of a in between ground there that could have been good. But I love the do or die. Where you must win to move on. I enjoyed that as a competitor. I enjoyed that as a fan. I thought it created some amazing storylines throughout the race where there was so many races within the race. So many things can change. There's so much going on. I enjoyed that. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one, but I think the majority of people seem like they wanted it back to where it was. I raise my hand and say, "Hey guys, remember why we changed it the first time?" Like there was a little reason there, and we're going right back. Maybe everybody forgot. Maybe there's newer fans that didn't get to watch back then, or whatever it is. I don't know, but there was a reason why we switched. Again, I'm fine with what we got. There'll be a deserving champion no matter what we do because the rules are the same when the season starts, right? Just like it was before, the rules were the same when we fired off. They are the same for everyone this year as we fire off. We just have to adjust the way we race now, and the strategy will change quite a bit. And what the storylines are will be different as well. And it's fine, and it'll be good. It'll be good. I also thought what we had was great. So that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, and what do you think some of those changes are going to look like? You said, the way you're going to race is going to change a little bit. How so do you see that happening, and how visible is it going to be to the average fan, 3 or 4 weeks into the season?
Well, yeah, you can't crash.
Yeah,
you can't crash. And to your point, you say a win's worth more, a win's worth less now. right? Like a
Well,
win before was your difference of getting to the next round, right?
yeah,
Or getting into the playoffs, or getting 5 playoff points that were worth a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, sure, it's worth more regular points, but it's actually worth less, uh, in my opinion. And
yeah,
so, that the consistency will matter much more.
mm,
Where, before you would be more willing to throw the Hail Marys, right?
yeah,
You would maybe a more aggressive pass, more aggressive strategy, an all or nothing kind of strategy, if you will. Now the goal is the top 10 to death. Right? Like that's what you got to
mhm,
do when you show up. You got to run up front, get stage points, and just limit the bad days.
mhm,
You can't wreck. You got to just keep figuring out ways to score those points, because you got to be top 5 in points when the playoffs start or the chase starts.
mhm,
You got to be right. You got to be close. You get too far back, you're not gonna. You may move up a few spots, but you're not gonna win. You're gonna be too far back. So you got to really think about, how do you how do you get yourself in that top 5 in points by the end of 26 races?
yeah,
Well,
yeah, and
I'm glad that you thought about. I mean, glad you said that from a competitor's perspective, because I guess I didn't think about that, because I will miss those moments, or will be more rare, of desperate people doing desperate things, and I definitely agree with you in that point. You're you're an excellent speedway racer. You and your team, especially everybody at Penske, because obviously we're opening it up with Daytona, and then now with Atlanta, with it being sort of speedway style, which the track is wearing, so it's becoming less of a speedway style, but
I
it's
love
still at
New
that point.
Atlanta, by the
Oh, I
way.
love it,
It's
by the
my
way.
favorite track on the
Oh, I love
schedule
it
right
too.
now.
But so we'll still call it 6 super speedways, technically, with draft
Mhm.
style racing. Does that change the way you race? Because you are always someone to be competing up front, and it usually, I mean, I get me and my dad get so upset every race, because you're always in the super speedways up there contending, and then something happens in the last 10 laps. And I feel
Yeah.
like in the past couple of years that has been the story, because what was it, 2018, 2019, you were, I think one year you had 2 wins, or you had 2 back-to-back wins at Talladega, and you were on a streak. But the past couple of years, it's just been, you've been up front the whole race, and then something goes wrong. Does this new
Yeah.
chase format change some of that? Do you feel the sense to play it safe? It's hard to play it safe in the super speedway, because if you're in the mid pack, you're
Mhm.
obviously in a worse position. But I mean, what's your thoughts when it comes to that?
Yeah, it will change. And what does that exactly look like? I think that'll, you're definitely going to be a little bit more conservative on taking risks, and the whole field will be though as well. Maybe not the Daytona 500, because it's the
It's
Daytona
the Daytona.
500,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? But when you get to the other super speedways, uh, to the point of limiting the bad days, can't get caught in a crash, it could change the feel of the race, the pack, the
Mhm.
way that the moves that are being made, the contentment of what spot you're in, right? And just checking the box, getting it out, right? Like, hey, like the difference of finishing, first and wrecking is too great of a risk, right? Like you can't take that. You gotta look at it and say, a top 5 is pretty good. I gotta get out of here with that. It could be way worse, right? Like I could get in the big one, right? And you'd be in trouble. So
Mhm.
you gotta. I mean, it's a smart way to do it. It sucks because I'm the guy that's like, I want to make the moves. I want to get
Mhm.
up there. I want to do that stuff, and I will still
Yeah.
at the right times. Um, but the super risky moves, you're gonna have to think twice about it for sure.
Mm.
I want to talk about quickly about the car. We talked about the next gen. We talked about the seventh generation car. With you having so much experience in the Cup Series, what has it been like to drive these different cars and adapt to them? Because I think especially with the seventh generation car, we saw a lot of veterans struggle and struggle to get around it. I think it was partially because of COVID, with limited practice, but we saw Kyle Busch really, even after, once we got to 2022, he had a great year, one of his first year with RCR, but it's really been a struggle, and that may be part of a team thing for RCR. They may be having a struggle, but there have been other older drivers that are having issues. what has it been like to go through those few generations of cars and allow you and a driver to adapt?
Yeah, well, I mean, the tire, as we talked about that earlier, the tires kind
Mhm.
of bring it a little bit back to what the old car was like.
Mhm.
But yeah, this car has been the biggest change that I've ever seen and been a part of.
Mhm. Yeah.
Every piece of this car is much, much different. The way you drive the car, the way the tires wear, the strategy of it, what you need in your race car, the way restarts work and racing around other cars from an aero perspective is way different. I mean, it is, and the way you have to hustle the car, right? Like it's just a
Yeah.
different feel. It's way different. And it's much more like a sports car. Right? It's much
Mhm.
more like what you've seen racing, in the Rolex 24. It's more that direction. And so, that's why before it was really hard for someone else to come into our sport and be competitive because our cars were so unique. It took a long time to learn them because they were just a funky race car. There was nothing else like it. Now it's much more like a sports car on a short track or an oval, and that takes a lot different type of racing to do that. And so uh, I think there's a little bit of old dog new tricks type of situation you gotta
Mhm.
try to work through because you know what used to work and it's hard to get that out of your mind.
Mhm.
Um, there's that, but I also think this car uh, rewards like you got to be quick. You got to be like
Yeah.
reaction times. You got to be quick. You got to be aggressive. You got to be willing to push really hard. Which the old car used to penalize you for that stuff.
Mhm.
Well,
And that's kind of what I've noticed a little bit is you look at the especially Gen 6 to Gen 7, and drivers from different backgrounds excelled at each of those generations of cars. Like right now, we're seeing a lot of guys from late model stocks and then dirt sprint car racing, really high downforce, high grip cars, the guys that excel. Whereas, Gen 5, Gen 6 era, a lot of the super late model um, guys and from that background were the guys that excelled at that car, which are high horsepower, low downforce. So it's kind of interesting to see now what are teams going to look at when they're looking at drivers, that are in their teens right now on who they want to develop.
Yeah, I mean it's big grip.
Yeah,
So I look at
yeah.
it as
exactly.
big grip.
Like that's one thing I've noticed is each of those backgrounds have you've seen different drivers excel differently in the generations of cars.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely changed.
Well,
Mm.
and Joey, you mentioned old dog new tricks and just learning all of those things and just how these cars have become incredibly different and more like a sports car. That's what I said. Even or obviously you drive it every week and you understand it. And no matter what NASCAR does with anything, you're gonna, like you said, with the championship format, like you're gonna race it and whatever it is. When it comes to them looking into what's going to be the eighth generation of car, do drivers talk about, hey, we kind of want to revert back to this, or is it out of? I know y'all are able to maybe say, hey, we want this, and they're going to take y'all's opinions into a matter of account. But is it for you? Are you, hey, I'd like to go back to that car, or is it, NASCAR is going to continue in this direction and there's nothing I can do?
There's nothing wrong with the car
Yeah,
to start
Yeah.
off with. I mean, there was, but I think most of them are fixed. Can it be better? Sure, everything can be a little
Yeah.
bit better too,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, nothing's ever good enough. I would say, uh, is what's the best part about the old car? I would say the best part about the old car is that you're able to loosen the guy up from, when you were behind them.
hmm
You were able to, get close to the rear spoiler, take air off it, and loosen them up without touching them. Uh, and actually, the leader can possibly be at a disadvantage for those moments. This
Mhm.
car, you can't do that. Uh, so passing cars is a little bit harder to do because you need a wider racetrack now. You can't follow in the tracks of the car in front of you. Good luck. You're not going to
Yeah.
turn. The
yeah,
car does not turn. It's going to plow like a dump truck. So you got to figure out a way to get air on your nose to pass them because you can't affect the leading car anymore. If I was to say one thing to try to figure out, that would be it. I've vocalized that many times.
Yeah.
Um, it's easy to talk about here. It's hard to figure out how and why, and
Yeah.
it's not from lack
Exactly.
of effort that they haven't tried things, but it's trying to understand what made the old car do that, and can you apply it to this car? Because I think some of that stuff is, not only the splitter would used to be on the ground, but the car used to be yawed out, and how much rear were you taking off the car from a downforce perspective versus a rear side force perspective? And I think it was more rear side force because the car was, yawed out so much. You know, uh, that would be the tough thing to try to answer without just trying some crazy things outside the box.
Yeah, I think you put it in a perfect word. It's not anything truly wrong with the car. It's just the difference in how they work and how they were built. And I definitely agree with you about. I loved seeing the leader at a disadvantage as you could put air on them, pack it on, and get them loose, and you could find an advantage. Running the same line right behind him, you might run that line better, and then you're going to be able to affect them and get by them, and then just go back and forth. So we'll see. Who knows what NASCAR is going to do with that? We're obviously everyone's talking about the championship format. Everyone's talking about everything with this year. Things with this year, Charlotte, we're going back to the oval. We're going twice for the 600 and now in the fall. Were you a guy that loved the Roval, or are you excited to be back at the oval?
Again, I'm good. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
I'm learning new things.
Personally, I'd rather race on ovals. So
Yeah.
I kind of like that one. I'm good with it.
Yeah. And I think Charlotte's been one of the best 1.5-mile tracks on the schedule over the last couple of years. Like, it has put on really good racing.
Yeah. Well, and I think the reason, in 2018 when NASCAR decided to go back to the Roval, it's at that point the Gen 6 car was not doing the greatest on 1.5 miles. It was really it was much better on road courses, and so they decided, hey, let's do this, let's try this deal, and it was great. I love the Roval, I enjoyed it, but I think especially this year. I mean, last year we saw a great, excellent race from the 600, especially out of this 7th gen car and what it does, and I think I'm glad we're going back because I think we loved the 600 last year, and I think we'll love the fall date just as much. So, Joey, I don't know what you watched. I don't know if you watched anything with the Ram deal, but I know that it's going on. I wanted to know from your perspective, even though you haven't watched it, or if you have, if you're the Ram people and you're looking at a young driver, what do you look at in a younger driver, someone who wants to make the step up to NASCAR? What would you look for from not a judging perspective, but what do you look for out of a younger driver to say, I think this guy has the ability to maybe make it?
Raw talent and attitude. Two things.
Just
That's it.
Straight up.
I mean, the simple way of looking at it, that's the
Yeah.
two most important things that make up any athlete is
Mhm.
sure what kind of raw talent is there. That's great, but if you don't have the work ethic to go with it, it's useless.
Yeah.
Right. So I think looking at the person, the human behind it, I think is one of the most important things for longevity, but also growth. There's a lot of times, moving up through the lower ranks, talent alone will be good enough to win. Not at the top level, it won't be anymore. So attitude will matter much more. So that to me is the most important thing. Looking at younger drivers is what's their makeup, right? Like what is who are they as a human? And obviously you want someone it's professional, it's representing huge brands. I want a driver that's quick. I want a driver that can process a lot of information at a high rate. During the race when there's a lot of things going on. The hardest thing to try to see in young drivers is their ability to handle pressure, like mental toughness. That's one of the hardest things to measure. Right, you got to put them in these do or die moments, right? You got to put them in these pressure moments and see how they react, because there will be moments like that where, gosh, it's big pressure. You got to figure it out. Like that's to me is the the stuff you got to look at there, and kids, younger you are, the harder it is to do that stuff. Right, like there's got to be a little bit of a a little different perspective on it, and saying, hey, like, first time you go through something, you're not gonna be that good at it, right? But it's just kind of seeing the attitude afterwards.
Yeah.
And
Gavin?
that's another thing. Like watching really young kids race, have a lot of talent. It's easy to have a good attitude when you're winning 3 out of 5 weeks too. Like when you look
Oh
at a
yeah.
driver who's a teenager, let's say in the Cars Tour, and they're winning 50% of their starts, yeah, of course they're going to have a good attitude. Nobody's going to question their attitude till something bad happens on track. And that's another thing that's hard to gauge is you have to watch for not just a few weeks of them. You have to watch them over the course of maybe 2 or 3 seasons before you can really
Mhm.
understand who they are as a driver and a person.
Yeah.
Well, they're growing too.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
You're growing.
And like
Yeah,
how you
you're
change
changing.
over that period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as well, I agree with y'all definitely, and it's something that's very difficult to judge. I think the two things that you stated, Joey, are probably the easier factors to be able to witness, but a lot of those other things are really experienced over a lot of time. I love what Ram is doing, or with Colic is doing. I appreciate opportunities being opened for drivers that may not have an opportunity otherwise. Being at South Boston this past year as an announcer has more opened my eyes to just the front lines of what it truly means to be a short track racer and someone who wants to make it to the top but might not have the money to do so. I mean, one of our good buddies, Timothy Watson, he's a super late model driver down in Pensacola, and he is an amazing driver. He has raw speed. He's got a great attitude, but him and his dad do what they can. And there's so many, throughout the entire history of NASCAR. There's so many numbers of who could have been, and so many of those people that are out there that we'll never know. And so I love opportunities like this being opened for drivers. I hope maybe Ford could do something with it. I hope Chevy, Toyota, I love opportunities like this being given to drivers who deserve it.
Mhm.
So
Have you, Joe? Have you gotten to watch the first 2 episodes of the Dodge Ram show? I don't know if you have yet or not. I was just curious.
I didn't know it came out.
Yeah, it came out this.
I saw
It came
the
out this
video, but I didn't
weekend.
know it came
The
out.
first 2 episodes came out this weekend.
I'm
It's
too
fun.
busy
I
playing in the
like it.
snow.
Hey, that's
fair.
probably more fun.
I
That's
just
probably
dropped the
more
bomb
fun than
on Joe. I'm
watching
like, hey,
TV.
this Ram show. And he's like, what Ram show? What are you talking about?
I'll have to check it out.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's fun. It's
fun.
reality TV, but I think it's real behind the scenes. Gavin, what you got?
I mean, that's what we have. That's written down notes wise. Daytona's coming up in a few weeks. When do y'all get ready to start heading down there as far as, loading up the cars or meeting specifically for the Daytona 500? Um, I guess at Penske, are y'all still focusing on the Clash, or have you started really reviewing things and preparing for Daytona yet?
Yep. Both.
Yeah. Both. I got you.
Both.
I got you. I
Both.
didn't know how much the Clash was. You'll have fun and let's worry about Daytona, or if it was let's go out there and really try to see where our short track program is going to stack up this year.
I don't think the Clash will really tell you anything
Yeah,
about the short track
it's
program quite
such a
yet.
small track.
Yeah, and then the speedway stuff, we're obviously been talking a lot about that. Just try to figure out the first few weeks to do there, and then just see what we got in the cars. You
Yeah.
adjust what you can and try to be a little better than you were last year, and everybody else has as well.
Mm,
We got definitely some challenges we'll have to try to overcome this year. No doubt with the new bodies from the Chevys, and the Toyotas had theirs last year, which were pretty stout. So we got to some stuff we're going to have to overcome. So feel like we'll be okay,
yeah.
but we definitely got to capitalize on some races for sure.
Mm.
Well, Joey, we want to be respectful of your time because we
Oh yeah,
appreciate you coming
totally.
back.
And
And I know we'll have you back. I'm appreciative of you and Gavin's friendship over all these years, and I'm excited that I've gotten to meet you and get to talk to you. Gavin, you were going to say something.
oh yeah, no, I was just gonna thank you again for coming on, Joey. This has meant a lot to me. I kind of laughed. We were talking at one point. I guess it was last summer when I was out in Charlotte, and I was talking about doing the B main and me and Scott having a few people on. You're like, well, when am I going to be on? I remember you asking me that, and I was like, well, let's do it when we've had the show for a year, and I think it worked out really well, and it was a perfect time to have it. And
Well,
thank you
thanks
so
for
much
having
for
me
coming
on.
Yeah, this is a great time.
I've enjoyed it. You guys do a good job, and
Well, thank you.
I think everyone likes talking about race cars, so it's pretty fun. So
It-
I appreciate it. We'll see you guys later.
Well, everybody, that was Joey Logano. This was an awesome episode. I know it was a little bit weird with the 4-day turnaround. Didn't have as much to talk about, but I really appreciated the depth of his conversations.
Yeah, me
He
too.
brought the insight on, especially the playoff format, how he was talking about how the racing
Yes.
is going to change a little bit, especially from the team's perspective and the way that they prepare each week. Yeah, once again, just super grateful to have him on. But just a few other headlines around the racing world. In the dirt world, the World Outlaws kicked off their season at Volusia, and everybody's going to be racing there for a month. So, yeah, we're stuck in Florida for a while. But Chris Madden, Hudson O'Neal, and Tim McCready picked up wins. And like I said earlier, Team Penske won the 24 Hours of Daytona. All those guys got Rolex watches. Also, a fun fact, there was a 6.5-hour fog delay, caution,
Crazy.
6 hours of caution laps. I'd messaged Coleman, who's Joey's spotter, during the first part of the race, and he said he was spotting from 12 to 5 a.m., and the fog delay was from 11-something p.m. to around 6 a.m. So he sat on the spotter stand for 5 hours under a caution.
Wow. That's crazy.
A shout out to him for toughing that out.
Seriously, all the other spotters up there as well.
Yeah, everybody who had to be a part of that stint, I can't imagine being a driver having to do my entire stint under caution.
I can't either.
I mean, that's just like driving down the road for 5 hours.
Seriously. No thank you. But yeah, we've had a great episode 27. We're so thankful to Joey for coming on. We're going to see what it goes on with the Clash. We're going to see what the news is. It's going to be fun no matter what. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be at Daytona.
Yeah, see everybody in 2 weeks. This is the B-Man. I'm Gavin Grubbs. This is Scott Shive. We will see you at episode 28.